Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. June 25, 1876, Montana Territory. Dust clouds rise from thousands of horses as Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer leads his 7th Cavalry toward what would become America's most famous last stand. But what if everything you think you know about Custer's death is wrong? What if the golden-haired general didn't die heroically in battle, but instead took his own life with a single bullet to the head? Today, we're exploring one of the most controversial theories in military history, that George Custer committed suicide at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. This information is from Tales of the Trail, short stories of Western life by Henry Inman in 1898. To understand what really happened to Custer, we must first examine an ancient practice central to this mystery: scalping. Most Americans viewed it as savage brutality, but a frontier observer who spent decades among Plains tribes discovered it held profound spiritual meaning. This chronicler identified 3 motivations behind scalping. First, scalps served as proof of victory, physical evidence of triumph. Second, they played central roles in religious ceremonies, sacred objects in medicine lodge incantations. But the third reason proves most crucial. Plains tribes believed scalps contained the essence of their former owners. All the bravery and prowess of the victim transferred to whoever possessed their hair. The more renowned the warrior, the more desperately tribes wanted his scalp. This created a hierarchy of value. During General Sheridan's winter campaign, our observer camped on a windy divide watching dust devils dance across the prairie. When he asked elderly Osage chief Little River what those swirling columns meant, the nearly 80-year-old leader replied, "They are the spirits of some southern Indians killed and scalped up north, going back to the lodges of their people." This reflected complex beliefs about death and souls. Different tribes held varying beliefs. Some thought the journey to happy hunting grounds began immediately upon death. Others believed spirits remained near graves. Still others that spirits of those dying away from home would return, hovering reluctantly before departing. Most Plains tribes believed that when someone was scalped, their soul attached to that scalp. Scalped victims didn't suffer from body wounds, but unscalped dead experienced ongoing spiritual torment. More importantly, one category of death prevented scalping entirely. Anyone who committed suicide, accidentally or purposely, faced absolute spiritual damnation. No afterlife, no journey to hunting grounds. They were irrevocably lost. It was against Plains Indian religion to scalp or mutilate suicide victims. This fundamental religious doctrine was observed as strictly as any spiritual law. After battles, warriors could identify suicide simply. Any corpses found unscalped and unmutilated had died by their own hands. Armed with this knowledge, our frontier chronicler developed a theory challenging everything Americans believed about their most famous military disaster. His intimate knowledge of this deep-rooted superstition led to a startling conclusion about Custer's death. The accepted story had already become legend. According to popular accounts, Custer fell victim to Sioux Chief Rain in the Face, seeking revenge for earlier humiliation. The tale claimed that at a military post, Custer's brother Tom struck Rain in the face during a dispute. The humiliated chief supposedly rode off sullenly to his lodge, nursing rage until he could exact revenge. Years later, Rain in the Face allegedly confessed to killing Custer, avenging the indignity. The story had everything: personal grievance, delayed justice, dramatic revenge. Newspapers worldwide repeated it endlessly. But our frontier expert dismissed this as fiction made out of whole cloth by a New York correspondent whose reputation for unexaggerated truth was far from orthodox. The story gained acceptance only because it had plausibility and was highly sensational. The Rain in the Face theory contained fatal flaws. While Rain in the Face would treasure such grievance, battle circumstances made personal revenge impossible. Sitting Bull, as supreme commander, would never permit a subordinate chief to claim such a prize for personal satisfaction. The game was too big for individual revenge against someone as notorious as Custer. But the most damning evidence lay in what didn't happen to Custer's body. If Rain in the Face killed him, he certainly would have scalped and mutilated the remains. Yet Custer was found unscalped, unmutilated. The conventional explanation claimed Indians held such profound admiration for Custer's bravery they spared the great white warrior from humiliation. But this contradicted Plains Indian psychology. The greater the man, the more eager they'd be to secure his scalp and claim his spiritual power. Here our frontier observer's alternative theory becomes compelling. He proposed Custer killed himself to escape horrible torture awaiting capture, something Sitting Bull had planned once seeing battle tide turning. Custer wasn't just any cavalry officer. Plains tribes knew him well. They called him Crawling Panther because he fell upon them as stealthily as that animal stalks prey. He'd given them ample cause to remember him. These warriors would never allow opportunity to capture him alive to slip away. To those unfamiliar with frontier warfare, suicide might seem cowardly. But our chronicler had witnessed remains of men, women, and children horribly mutilated, burnt, butchered, and hacked to pieces. Anyone seeing such atrocities would unhesitatingly court death by their own hands, suddenly and immediately, rather than wait for the other, certain and horrible in its prolonged agony. This wasn't theoretical for frontier officers. It was commonly understood each should reserve his last bullet for himself in such contingency. Many carried small capsules of prussic acid or other swift poisons, easily accessible to be used if capture seemed inevitable. Physical evidence supports this possibility. Custer was shot through the head, and in what our observer called curious coincidence, 2 or 3 subordinates found near him had been shot precisely the same way. Our frontier chronicler concluded there could be little doubt those officers carried out a death plan determined upon recognizing their situation's hopelessness. The truth can never be absolutely known. From that unequal conflict came only one survivor, a Crow scout and Colonel Keogh's horse, Comanche. But from the simple fact that Custer wasn't scalped, the suicide theory appears far more plausible than Rain in the Face's romanticized revenge. This theory forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about warfare, heroism, and survival. Perhaps Custer's final act wasn't the reckless charge of legend, but a professional soldier's calculated decision understanding what frontier defeat meant. Perhaps his last bullet wasn't fired at an enemy, but served as his final command decision, choosing how his story would end. The dust devils still dance across Montana plains, carrying spirits of those who fell that day. Maybe they carry the truth about America's most controversial military legend, a truth challenging everything we thought we knew about courage, sacrifice, and the price of command. Sometimes the most powerful stories force us to question everything we thought we knew. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, If you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.